Go ahead and set up your screen, and whenever you're ready, take it right away.
Sure, let me do a quick share screen.
Okay, sure.
Can my screen be seen?
Yes, you just hit the control screen. All right, there you go. So JJ, the screen is yours. Thanks.
Okay, great. So hi everyone, I'm JJ from Novocall. Just wanted to say thanks to Exabytes for hosting this event, for inviting me to speak. So I think I'll just get to it. So I'll be talking about converting your leads to sales through inbound call funnels. So I'll just be sharing some of the things that we've learned, I've learned while building a Novocall, talking to some of our clients and different types of businesses. So yes, a little bit. So this is me. This is a more professional photo taken. You can call me JJ. So I co-founded Novocall together with two other co-founders right after university. So if you look at my face, I'm pretty young. So maybe I'll just do a quick sharing about how we first started before I even go into what I'm going to talk about. So yeah, so this is our story. Look at this. If you look at the right-hand corner, that's me and two of my other founders. I'm not sure you can spot which one is me, the circle glasses. So yeah, basically our story is that I co-founded this with Amos and Jonghan. Amos is my CTO. Jonghan is my head of sales. So Amos and I, we first met in university since year one, and we started a edtech company together that was used by several tertiary institutions in Singapore. Amos also worked in Singtel, Singapore's largest telco, and he discovered, when he was working there, he discovered like some issues when it comes to customer service, when it comes to calls. Like I'm sure when you call big companies like that, you tend to get into some issues or some dissatisfaction. So that was what he discovered. Jonghan, on the other hand, he's pretty legit. So he actually founded his own marketing agency by himself, and he did it all. Did it all on his own. One issue that he faced that he told us was that he was spending a lot of time trying to service clients, but some clients he weren't exactly providing a lot of strong ROI for his clients because of the nature of their products. So he actually encountered some issues scaling. So we actually came together, and they all shared with me their problems, and that's when we decided to come together to build a solution ourselves. So that's when we started building Novocall. I think so far we've been in operation for about 2 years now, 2.5 years. Helped about 2,000 businesses, SMEs, based in Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, US, Australia. Yep. So that's a quick background about us. So I know I've blabbered a lot, but I haven't actually explained what Novocall does. So what do we actually do? So our tagline is that we supercharge sales conversations. We are a call automation platform to engage prospects and distribute qualified sales calls to your sales teams. So why you should listen to this is not a sales pitch. This is just like a pitch on converting more leads to sales. So why I think you should listen would be those people who want to listen. You are selling a expensive, high value, complex product or service. In general, it requires a lot of customization. You might be spending a lot of money on ads to acquire leads, to acquire customers. So you're probably like a manager, director, spending money on ads like Facebook, Google, programmatic ads. But then your leads, sometimes you realize that it's not converting well to sales. So from the marketing side, you might see that you are getting a pretty good cost per click. You might be getting pretty good click-through rates. But your sales team might be giving you feedback saying that the lead quality is not very high. If the lead quality is poor, there's a very high drop-off rate. So from the marketing side, they might think this is actually your fault, sales team's fault for not being able to close the leads. But the sales team would then complain to the marketing side saying it's because the lead quality is poor. So aside from this kind of disputes, you are actually having a leaky funnel. But don't worry, a lot of businesses are actually having the same issue as well. A lot of marketers, most marketers actually, find it difficult to market and actually sell complex and high value products. So let's take a look at understanding potential concepts and issues that affect your sales conversions, your lead conversions to sales. So the first one that I want to talk about would be product to channel fit. So when it comes to products, there's always different types of products, and when you have different types of products, it's not like a one-size-fits-all channel where all sorts of channel would be a fit to the product. I'm referring to a digital channel. For the sake of this discussion, we're talking about digital channel, especially because most companies and businesses are moving online now. So this is a graph with two different axes, a value axis and a complexity axis. So we have low value to high value, simple and transactional to customized and complex axis. So most products or services, they generally fall under here, one of these quadrants. So the first, I think it's important to understand this quadrant and this graph so that you can actually figure out what type of product will be used for what type of channel. So for the first quadrant, which is low value and simple and transactional, it's consumer products. So consumer products would be low value, and it's also very self-service because it's low value. You want it to be as self-service and transactional as possible. So like purchasing books, cups, phone cases, small things like that. It's usually done through e-commerce, and it's usually purchased very frequently because for the business to survive, if it's a low value product, it has to be at high volume and frequent purchases. So this is how the product is segmented into quadrant one. And because of this, the channel that you want to use for this would be more of a automated channel because you don't want to spend too much time on servicing your clients for this. For quadrant two would be a high value, but also simple and transactional. So in general, it's like one-off purchases. So it's usually high value. You purchase it maybe slightly more than a year in terms of frequency. So like bed, phone, laptop, tech products. That's one-off purchase. And because it's also simple, it's not very complex. It's simple and transactional. It's also an automated process. So like you go to Apple's website, you want to buy a MacBook. It's just several options that you can choose from. So that's high value. It's expensive, but it's also simple and transactional. So you want a automated funnel for that as well. A lot of our companies that talk to us, they generally fall in quadrant three, which is high value, but also customized and complex. So these are usually the services, the packages. If I'm selling marketing services, if I'm selling financial services, I have a lot of questions, a lot of customizations to do. This will fall under quadrant three, which is high value, but also require a lot of hand holding or a lot of talking. So the last one would be low value but customized and complex. I actually haven't found any much businesses who actually fall in this quadrant because it would be highly unprofitable. Yep. Yeah, I put in Subway because Subway is cheap and it's also customizable. Hope they don't sue me for this. So for product and channel fit, let's take a look at quadrant three, which is high value, but also complex and a lot of customizations involved. So for this type of products, we have to understand the nature of the buyers. So the nature of these buyers would be they purchase this infrequently, or it may be like the first time or second time purchase. So it's new. You're providing a service that is in general more unique. So your clients or your buyers generally have a lot of questions for you. So some examples of this would be in the B2B sector, financial products, marketing services, development services. And in the B2C sector, it's like actually a lot of services as well. So education, healthcare, travel, migration, logistics. I mean, the different types of logistics, they would fall under quadrant 3 as well. So a lot of business in this quadrant, what we realize for them would be because it's a more complex product, it requires a different approach. So the approach of using a more automated channel might not be a high converting as compared to quadrant 1 and quadrant 2 products. So for quadrant 3 products, there's a personal touch involved because your product nature requires you to earn the trust of your buyers. So prospects are less likely to engage or convert if you use a more automated channel, like a form or a bot. That's what I discovered, especially for our clients. And this, I think, is something that it's quite overlooked because of the hype of all these tech tools like chat and bots. It's very easy to just fall into the hype, but not exactly understanding the nature of the product. So I think that you have to take one step back to actually understand the product channel fit first. The next thing I want to talk about would be lead response time. So I think there was a study by Harvard Business Review. They found that the average response time for B2B companies, this was done in a survey in the US, about 2,000 businesses. The average response time is about 42 hours. Only 37% of, less than half of companies responded to their leads within 1 hour. And then 16% of companies responded to their leads within 1 to 24 hours, which is quite long. And then there's about 50% of them don't even respond or take longer to respond to their clients, to their leads. Yeah, so you might think that why is this an issue? So studies have shown that the odds of making a successful contact with a lead, it's 100 times greater when you attempt to contact them within the first 5 minutes of them giving you the lead information. So this means that there is a direct and linear correlation between your response time and your qualification rates and conversion rate. Because especially when it comes to more competitive industries, right? So leads are actually time sensitive, they're on a clock. So lead quality actually deteriorates every minute, especially if you're in a hyper competitive space, resulting in a lot of drop off in leads. So I think the study was, I think I put in the wrong slide. It should be the previous slide, but yep. The study showed the response time dropped a lot when I mean, the conversion rate drops a lot when you actually take longer to respond to them. So one important metric that we tell a lot of our users or businesses, set a key metric will be your lead response time because of the direct relation between that and your conversion rate. So response time becomes a key metric for you that affects your conversion rates. And now that you've set your key metric as your lead response time, you want to reduce your lead response time. So this way, competitors are much less likely to be explored by your users. But then again, to reduce your lead response time is not very easy. I mean, even internally within Novocall, we have difficulty trying to do that at the start because you don't want a sales team to be 24/7 standing by on their phones, on their apps, on their desktops. But what you want to do is to create a streamlined and automated process for your sales team to receive inbound sales inquiries. If it's for quadrant 3, will be like sales calls, video calls, and only when they're available. And then the last concept I want to talk about would be marketing to sales attribution. So if you're selling the complex products and you're getting leads through calls, you want to attribute these calls as conversion events to your marketing campaigns. So if you are selling e-commerce or you're selling more automated products, you already run marketing campaigns. You are already tracking these products. You're already tracking your results. In general, it's tracked automatically through Facebook. And because the event is easy, like a button or a click or a page, you don't have to specially attribute for those events. But if you're running calls, it's a lot harder to rely on marketing distribution for folks. So it's important because we actually help to understand what ad campaigns are performing, enable optimize your campaigns and improve your ad spend, and also to show that ROI with your sales team or the boss. So fixing the key funnel. So I think I explored three main concepts regarding sales, lead to sales conversion. And then this is some of the ideas or the suggestions that we have with our with fixing a leaky funnel. And this experience comes from some of the research that we've done in the past, but also a lot of them comes from first-hand experience when it comes to our clients. So I think the first most important one would be using personal touch. So I think especially if you're selling the high value products, you want to use personal touch as much as possible. So I think this is one of our short and financing loans to business. Demand side and the supply side, they have a bunch of investors on the demand side. Sorry, on the supply side, providing loans, providing financing to businesses, which is on the demand side, you need businesses who is able to request for loans. So this kind of thing, it's quite touchy, it's high risk. And yeah, there's a lot of questions involved. If I'm an investor who wants to put money into this platform, or if I'm a business who wants to loan money from this platform, there's a lot of risk involved. So what Valida's Capital used at the very start, they used the standard messenger contact forms, and they sold to sell the expensive business loan packages. The nature of this product, like I've established earlier, there's lack of trust when it comes to talking through text or through email or through chat. So I think Roy, he's the digital marketing manager there. He told me that there was a high drop-off rates on their forms, especially, and the agent always has to be present on their chat app to actually like reply. And even if they reply on the chat, there's a lot of drop-off and difficulty because it's low commitment, right? So afterwards, I think Valida's, Roy, they actually move on towards using calls. So they implemented callback on their website, on their contact forms and their Facebook forms. And this resulted in the main communication moving towards calls from the customers to the sales team. So the sales team was able to build a lot more rapport and more trust when they want to talk to the clients. So I think and as a result, they increased number of leads by 55% in the first 6 months of moving towards a callback communication system to engage the leads. And this was because they provided more personal touch to the high value product. So the point I'm trying to make is that we want to accelerate the human element so that you can increase the trust with your prospects. And also in an automated fashion, because when trust and rapport is made, conversions in general just skyrocket. So I think this some Q&A I prepared. I'm going to skip that. We can go back to this if you have questions later. Next one would be to respond to a call in 25 seconds. So we've talked about lead response time. So I think if it's a call, lead response time is very important to really boost the conversion. So another of our business would be Lula. So Lula Adventure Resort, they were getting a lot of leads from the websites because they were getting from TripAdvisor, they rank pretty highly. So they're getting a lot of leads from TripAdvisors. The leads go to the website, go to the contact form, to the live chat. The agents start to reply them to schedule to start a conversation, or they, through an email or contact form, they schedule a call. In general, ping pong here and there, it takes about 1 day. So Satnam, I think he was a marketing manager. He actually feedback to us. He said that they saw a lot of drop off because they're taking a long time, like more than 24 hours to actually respond to the leads. So they needed a fast response time. They didn't want to use forms, and live chat wasn't able to create the same rapport as a phone call. So basically, we want to, so Satnam basically said he wanted to respond to your leads immediately before return call. And especially when he has a sales agent or a sales team, he wants to empower them with the ability to capture these leads as much as possible. So I think my last point would be to attribute your phone calls. So another of our client would be iClick. So iClick is a marketing agency. They ran multiple ad campaigns for their clients. So the clients were receiving calls. So this, to them, they might think it's successful. iClick might think they're being successful, but the clients actually feedback to them. They're not sure if these calls came from iClick's marketing efforts directly, or they just came from organic traffic or maybe PR. So iClick was very frustrated because he wasn't able to prove the results and ROI of his agency's efforts to the clients. So he purchased call tracking solutions. He purchased different software and different numbers with varying usage types for different clients. And I think there was a resulted in this array of different tracking methods for different clients, and he found it to be a challenge to actually analyze across different companies and websites. So what we suggested was he had to unify. What he did was that he actually unified call tracking across multiple digital touch points. So on his website, there's call tracking, but then on his Facebook, on his contact forms, different areas, there's all call tracking unified. So this way, he is able to track leads and calls to the campaigns that he's able to run, allowed him to optimize ad campaigns, resulted in 30% decrease in cost per conversion, and also increasing the campaign ROI by 16%. So I think, I'm not sure how much time I have left. So I think the key points I want to, I'm trying to make would be for conversions, lead to sales conversions. I think one thing that people or businesses would want to consider the most would be the product to channel fit. Understanding your product type, and then finding the right channel that fits your product, the right communication channel and the right acquisition channel to fit your product. The next one would be the metric would be lead response time, which is something that I don't think a lot of businesses take note. They just care about conversions, but if you break down into it, lead response time is actually there's a lot of studies made. Lead response time is one of the main factor that affects conversions. And then of course, when it comes to conversions, you definitely want to attribute them to marketing, attribute these back to marketing, and have a very stable and active communication between the marketing and the sales team. So my suggestion would be using personal touch for products that fall under quadrant 3 in the product channel quadrant. Respond to your calls with in 25 seconds or within the first 5 minutes to really reduce your response time and also to attribute your calls. So I think a lot of businesses, what they do is they combine multiple processes. They purchase a call tracking number, they add the number to the website, get agents on standby, on the chat, on the email. Businesses told us that number one, it's expensive to have agents on standby all the time, and if they are busy, they get a lot of missed calls. It's also difficult to schedule these missed calls, to follow up these missed calls. There's a lot of back and forth emails involved, which can be quite time consuming. you spend a lot of effort on manual data collection, because when it comes to calls, it's non-digital, it's not very innovated upon. So there's a lot of things that's stuck in the call unless you use call recording, uh, which you have to piece a lot of software together just to create this funnel or this process. And so it can be tedious and expensive to do so. So where does Novocall come in? So in the buyer's journey from a prospect to a happy customer. So from a prospect to a marketing qualified lead, MQL to an SQL, and from a sales qualified lead to a converted sales, and then to retention and happy customer and referral in the future. So how Novocall comes in is that we realize that in the lead journey, from an MQL to SQL, and from SQL to sales, call automation, lead distribution, and attribution of marketing plays a big part. So this is where Novocall actually helps, because our product is suited and has a features and functionality for call automation and the rest of the things I explained. Yeah, I think that's the end to my presentation.
All right, super. Now we have one question for you here.
Okay.
This one is asking how to ensure high conversion rates with using schedule to call a client.
Sorry, could you repeat?
How to ensure high conversion rates with using a schedule to call clients.
Okay, so so your question is how do you ensure that the conversion rate is high while we are scheduling a call? So actually,
Yes.
that's one thing that one issue that we encountered with ourselves as well. So we were trying to schedule calls using, let's say, I think previously we were using like Calendly, or like just scheduling calls and moving them to Zoom or to Hangouts. I think one issue was there's a drop-off rate in between funnels. So what we want to do is we want to reduce the time spent between that as much as possible. So providing a lot of reminders, providing a lot of notifications, and also reducing the amount of time that you're able to spend to schedule a call, automating the entire process. That in general was what was really helpful to ensure like almost close to 100% closing contact schedule rate. Yep.
Okay, thank you. You guys, if you have any questions, just leave them in the Q&A box. We do have a little bit of time to answer the questions here. So once again, that's the Q&A box right beneath your screen. Type in your question, leave your name, and we'll get right to it. This next one comes from Mark. So Mark would like to know, would AI chatbots be more instantaneous than book a call?
Yeah. Actually, chatbots. Sorry, let me show you this. So I think chatbots is it's definitely very useful. I think a lot of businesses has been using chatbots right now to actually create a more instantaneous response. So I think for Novocall, we actually integrate directly to chatbot as well, because we realize one problem we realize with chatbots is that aside from the inaccuracy would be the lack of personal touch when it comes to relating to or engaging with a client. So the most the chatbot can do would be answering several questions via FAQ, similar to a live chat, and also scheduling towards a call, which is usually manual. So what Novocall does is that we are complementary to chatbots. We talk ourselves into chatbots in terms of automating a call. So we help chatbots once a customer is ready or a prospect is ready. Let's say a marketing lead or a sales qualified lead. You want to accelerate that. So you want to bring them into a call and also automate the entire call process. And also, lastly, aside from automating the call process, you want to indicate to your ads platform, like Google or your Facebook ads, that this has actually been in this particular stage. So that's when attribution also comes in as well.
All right, fantastic. Thank you for the question, Mark. I hope that answers your queries. Now, you guys are going to give you a little bit more time to send in your questions. We still have a couple of more minutes. JJ here is happy to answer any queries you might have, but in the meantime, let's give them a couple of minutes. So, JJ, what are your plans for the weekend?
Wow, I wasn't expecting that question. Yeah, I think I'll probably you guys are based in Singapore as well, right? Yeah,
Sorry,
so
come again?
I think I'll probably head out to a cafe and do some work and also just relax. Yep.
All
Um,
right.
yeah, probably do some baking as well. I think during the lockdown in Singapore, I did quite a bit of baking.
Oh, you actually bake. That's very impressive. No, not a lot of guys actually do hands-on things in the kitchen. But I'm very, very confident that times are changing. So you're setting a wonderful example for the rest of the guys out there. So so you said that you're going to be going out to work during the weekends. Aren't you going to like do something a bit more relaxing? Perhaps, I don't know, head on over to a friend's house, catch a movie, but practice social distancing and stuff.
Yeah, I hope so. But sometimes things can get quite hectic recently. So I think things are picking up like in terms of sales, in terms of every country. A lot of countries are opening up. So I think we also get busy as well.
All right. Okay, we have a question that just came in, and this is probably going to be the last one that we're going to answer. It's a very lengthy one, and it comes from Angela. Now, Angela's question is, my client is HR. I've been running campaigns for conversions. However, the team is stuck on cold calls and is not able to process. Would you recommend similar automation to implement a chat function or websites, or have someone stand by as a chat officer for recruitment inquiries? What about the chatbot, or should we implement something else?
Well, that's okay. I think I can see it here.
Yes,
Well, let me reread the question.
absolutely.
Okay, so I think it really depends on the sales, on the marketing and sales approach that you are doing. So there's always two types of approach. I think for cold calls, it's more of an outbound approach, right? So you're actually calling the prospects and trying to convert them as a cold audience basis. Then I think for a chat function or a chat or a call inbound, it will be more like an inbound channel. So I think there are two slightly different approaches. If you're running campaigns, let's say marketing agency, your marketing agency, I'm assuming your marketing agency running campaigns, that will be more of an inbound. So inbound, I would recommend depending on their product types. I would recommend a chat or or callback for them. Yep. But it really depends
Okay.
on the type of products that they are providing and also the customer journey that they are in. Yep.
Okay, fantastic. Now, JJ, thank you so much for your time and your effort and everything that you've brought to the Singapore Marketing Fest 2020. That's all the time we have for today. But yes, do stick around. Feel free to catch our last speaker. We have one more for the rest of the day. And I wish you a good and relaxing weekend. And hopefully I'll see you soon.
Yeah, thanks, Lauren.
All right. Bye, JJ. I'll catch you later.
Bye.
Exabytes. Grow your business online.